Hey YouTube, I wanted to give a quick update on my Superlite SLC V10 build and show you guys some of the progress that I've made since the last video. All right, here she is. Last time I posted, I was having a lot of problems with the V10 engine. I had a knocking sound. Now. Yeah, so it turns out that knocking sound was from the previous owner of this engine reassembling it incorrectly. So they pulled out the Vanos adjusting gear, and that Vanos adjusting gear has a big spring in it. It's spring loaded and it needs to be torqued. But what happens is they didn't torque it. And I'm just taking some of the junk out of here. All right, I got this awesome Momo D-style wheel. And then it has a quick release. So let me see here. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. So it's got the NRG quick release to pull the wheel off. I got the AIM dash in there. Had to cut out, make some room for that AIM MXP digital dash, and I'll have to have a more in-depth video of that later. Here's my Superlite gated 6-speed shifter. I actually installed that, put in the cable and everything, and was able to drive it around the driveway very slowly. But now it's coming apart for more wiring work. And here's my wiring right now, which it looks like a rat's nest, but I'm making progress slowly. So here's this main cable coming back to a junction point here where the engine power taps in. And then I also have power going to my fuel pumps. So I actually have dual fuel pumps. They're dual Bosch 044 fuel pumps. And right now I have the power running into two little fuse type 1 relays. So these relays will automatically reset. Have power going into the relay, and then signals actually coming from the ECU. And so this is going to be cleaned up, of course, this wiring. But yeah, so now I've got dual waterproof relays, 30 amps each, and they're running through this two cables into the left and right fuel pump. If you look at the exhaust, I have these crazy mufflers sticking up here, and these mufflers are off the actually the BMW F10 M5, which are the 2011 and up. I don't even know what year it is, like 2011 plus BMW M5s, and they're extremely loud. But the problem that I'm having is it's not designed packaging wise. These are designed for a front engined car. So I had to rethink my strategy. And so in a future video, I'll show you my new exhaust, which is an aftermarket exhaust, the Quicksilver exhaust, that's used in the Audi R8 and the Lamborghini Gallardo, which have the same transmission here, the Graziano. And so the great thing is that exhaust, it's actually a titanium muffler here, and then the pipes come down to the side and out, and it's a lot better setup for a mid-engined car. All right, I know there's a lot of messy wiring stuff going on. So basically right now, I'm trying to get all the wiring figured out for how I want to route power and signal data between the ECU and the dash, and also assigning what controls what. So this AIM dash, it only has 4 analog channels. Most of the information is coming from the ECU, but the analog channel usually is fuel level in the fuel tank, and you know, turn signals on, brights on, stuff like that. And most of the times you need more than 4 channels, so you have to buy the expansion for the AIM dash. But instead, I'm actually going to be running a lot of these functions off of the ECU. So the ECU can actually, I can set an input on the ECU for the fuel tank fuel level. So that gives me back one of my inputs from the dash. So I'm going to have the fuel level sender go into the ECU and then send that as a CAN bus message to the dash. So that takes care of that. Also, this ECU has dual cooling fan relay output. So instead of just having a single trigger point where both fans turn on and kind of pull current from the system all at once, because the Delta ECU has dual fan control, I can turn on one fan early, like at maybe 175 degrees, and then at 185 I can turn on the other fan, and so it's just going to be a little less noise, and a little less impact to the electrical system when these 2 Meridyne 12-inch fans turn on. I fabricated this fan shroud, and I'll have a separate video about how I did that. This is made out of 3003 aluminum, 025, and it's 025 inches thick. So this is a very flexible aluminum, and it worked great for hand forming. So I was able to just bend it over straight edges and hammer it out and get all these flanges and put it together. All right, what else? I put the front diffuser on, which is pretty awesome looking. So I got the front diffuser. I've mounted the condenser for the air conditioner, but I actually need to 3D print some rubber damper mounts here, just to reduce some of the vibration that goes to this. These can be ruined by too much vibration, so you need to isolate them. And how I'm attaching them, I just welded these little tabs onto the radiator body itself, and then drilled and tapped it so we could attach this on there. All right. One of the things that is a challenge with the stock Superlite is it comes with these Willwood brake and clutch reservoirs, and they tend to leak all the time. Well, this is a Tilton Reservoir. I think it's about $120, and I'm running 903 Raceline, which is a really awesome PTFE line with a braided covering, super easy to work with, and it's ultra lightweight. This is very expensive, but this is a great way to not have leaks. And also I needed a way to adapt my AN lines. So these are 4 AN here. And I don't know if I can look in there. So if you look down here at the pedal setup, that race line is going into the reservoir, and then it actually has a thread-in adapter. So there's no push fit lines, it's all AN lines now. All right. Hopefully I'm not making you guys sick with my wavy camera work. What else? So I can show you, here's the body standing up. they call this part of the, this is the main part of the body, and it's called, people call it the spider. I'm actually not sure why they call it the spider. And here is the hood of the Superlite. So the body pieces actually take up a lot of room when you're in the process of building. So here's the tail, the front body, and the doors. All right. So the next thing I'm going to work on is the wiring of the relays for the electric fans. And one thing I'm interested in doing is changing these the control of these fans and the fuel pumps from relays to actually brushless motor controllers, because then you get some really cool functions where you can slowly ramp up the speed of these motors. It's good for reducing the amount of sound that you hear in the cabin from the fuel pump and the fans. And for the fuel, it's a good way to reduce the fuel pump speed when you're not needing as much fuel. So this is a return system, and if you just run the pumps at full speed all the time, it actually will heat up the fuel. All right. I know everything looks like a mess right now, but progress is being made slowly but surely. I took the HP Academy Motorsport wiring course, and so all of these harness pieces are going to get pulled out of the car, and they're going to be covered in Raychem DR25, and then also SEL dual wall heat shrink. So here's a little piece here. So here's this SEL heat shrink, and you can tell that it's the good stuff because when you heat it up, it actually seals the wire, and you see this black sealant stuff kind of ooze out. And so that's when you know you got the good stuff. Some of the less effective dual wall heat shrink actually has this clear sealant, which is not as flexible as the black stuff from the Raychem SEL. But yeah, that looks really, really slick. So these wires are protected here. And if you see all these kind of cheesy ring terminals, I'm gonna pull those out and replace them with some non-insulated ring terminals, and then use the proper shrink wrap to kind of clean this up a bit. All right. Well, that's it on the Superlite SLC progress. Thanks for following my build, and hope to have lots more updates coming soon. Thanks.